The cockpit of an electric mountain bike can be an exciting, terrifying, and challenging view as you travel through the world, up and down mountains at breakneck speed. And I wanted to share with you what I've learned on my Rocky Mountain Instinct Powerplay Alloy 30 bike here, biking in Southern California, Ventura County. In this video, I'm riding an electric mountain bike in Dos Vientos, Thousand Oaks, California, on a local trail in the Santa Monica Mountains, which is next to the Point Mugu State Park. The control surfaces of the electric mountain bike are, most importantly, the pedals on the crankshaft, and I'm wearing clipped pedals which allow a mountain biker to clip into the pedals, and then the seat, of course, and the seat post height can be controlled via the left thumb with a seat post dropper. And using the handlebar controls, the right hand controls the rear brake caliper, the left hand controls the front brake caliper, and the right thumb controls the gear. And so the transmission has 11 different speeds, which the electric motor has 4 different settings for pedal assist. And I want to show my most recent experience doing the Powerline Trail in a Rocky Mountain Instinct Powerplay Alloy 30 bike. This is the kind of technical area with a very narrow left-hand turn up here that always kind of gets my attention. This is it, and beyond that area it gets wider and easier. I always just go up on my clipped-in pedals in that area, so I'm prepared to put a foot down if needed. There's fairly heavy brush on both sides. So it's not just a steep drop off. No brush. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording up here so it's not too long. Okay. Overgrown here, slightly downhill, dropping my seat, standing up on the clipped-in pedals, and now we're out. I'm in this flowy portion right here, and generally when I'm biking I'm kind of listening to the cadence, trying to keep the cadence between 70 and 100. That seems to be the optimal power band for the Dynamic 4.0 electric motor. And this electric motor is 108 Newton meters. So you can kind of think of that as like 108 kilograms per square second acceleration, which I weigh less than 108 kilograms. So this thing really has no problem with the torque. For Americans, 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So we're out there. Okay, we're about to go back into the bush. Trying to keep my RPM around 90 rotations per minute. And that's just how fast my feet are pedaling. The clipped in pedals allow me to push down on the downstroke and pull up on the upstroke. But it does require awareness of when you're going to get slow and lose the gyroscopic guidance of the wheels spinning. And if you get slow, you need to clip out on the side that's leaning. Okay. Pretty flowy in this area, but some overgrowth. There's a sharp left turn here and then a decline. So I'm standing up in this area. And then there's a more gentle turn to the left here. And there's just a low brush. I'm hitting my calves and knees, but nothing taller than that. There's a ravine from water erosion that's maybe 6-12 inches back there, and best to avoid getting in that ravine. I speak from experience. Okay, and here we are at the yellow pipe. We have to dismount. Another advantage of riding clipped in is during ravines or curbs, you can jump and the bike will come with you. I missed my left turn there, so I'm gonna just do left leg clipped out and U-turn and then clip back in. Generally pretty flat and flowy here, with no exposed rocks. Slight down there. I left the single track, went into the brush on the left side, but that was just from lack of braking in the turn. In general, when you're braking, you don't want to over brake with the front, which is the left caliper here, because if you lock up the front wheel, especially when you're slow, can lead to an over the handlebar rider. We're out of the brush now and back to another yellow bar. This is the beginning of power line drive. And it looks like my cadence meter showing me too low for assist. So I was kind of on my own there for a bit with my RPM down in the 20s. Better planning would have been a downshift early. But the problem is, with that much load on the chain, you really should not shift under load. And here we are in the power line trail. part of it is generally just dirt with a small amount of rock. And here's the rocky part, the downhill, with a couple of ravines. And this is the beginning part. When I exit this part, I always get a little bit confused. A little water there. Some light straw for traction to prevent erosion. I'll catch you in a little bit. This is at the base of Powerline, and I wanted to show this ravine, which is about two feet, and it requires you to ride the right side, and maybe some advanced riders would just dismount or jump it. I choose to dismount. I clip out the left leg span and then remount. And here we are going up the base of Powerline. This part tends to be a little rocky with some free gravel to make things interesting. But generally, if you keep your momentum going up and don't stop, is my best strategy. Just continue, therefore, to reduce the risk of losing traction. Hiker. All right, catch you at the top. Midway up Powerline Drive, rocky with loose gravel, and I just passed a deep ravine on the left. I choose to avoid that by just hugging the right side of the trail. This trail looks like it probably started as a 2-track for Jeeps or utility companies coming up here to maintain and establish these power lines. So there's the power lines kind of midway, and then there is a decline here through gravel and rock. But mostly flowy. Again, I just stay clipped in, avoid excessive speed with gentle rear braking, light front braking. And then at the nadir of the trail, I will shift down, not under load, and try to maintain my speed in the incline. This is the probably upper half of Powerline Drive, which was likely a 2-track road. So plenty of room, plenty of choice on where you want to ride. I will often see hikers on here. I've never seen any equestrians. We'll meet you at the top. This part of Powerline has a good view of Dos Vientos. As the bird sees it, with the baseball fields and Mount Boney in the distance. Here we look over the valley. Straight ahead is Mount Boney. I'm gonna pull up to the edge. Dos Vientos, baseball fields, community center, rec center. Camarillo over to the west, the ocean, and then Thousand Oaks back to the east. Powerline Trail further up. In the upper portion of the Powerline Trail, we approach another set of towers while we follow this 2-track. And off to the right is a valley which you can take in the descent if you're exiting to the northwest, but I've only taken it part way down, and if I recall, I think I lost cell phone coverage in that area and I had to turn around and come back. And here we start that descent for the northwest exit. Continuing past the second set of towers, the 2-track is rocky with some loose gravel, and the final set of towers is off our right hand side. Although we won't make it to the final set of towers as the ascent becomes too steep for this setup, which is the Rocky Mountain Instinct powerplay. Pardon how I catch my breath. And my legs, as well as the loss of traction, generally mean we stop in the most rocky, steepest aspect. I'll show you shortly. This is generally where my ascent ends. Generally, my center of gravity falls too aft to maintain forward momentum, and that coupled with the loose gravel, I generally lose traction. So I dismount one leg and power up with just one leg. We continue on. Note the large red boulders above and overgrowth of the brush. The power lines are straight ahead. The second set of towers are off to our right. The third set of towers to the left. We descend slightly. The final third set of towers at the top of Powerline Drive. We move away from the third set of towers up towards the peak, just to say we did it, and have to dismount and walk over these large boulders and free gravel. And here we are at the top of the power line. You can see the electric mountain bike is a Rocky Mountain Instinct Powerplay Alloy 30 from the top of Powerline Drive Trail and Mount Boney straight ahead. As we begin our descent, my seat post is dropped and I'm clipped in only on the right, and I'm holding gentle brake in the front and stronger brake on the right, and I'm rolling and walking down out of preservation of my GoPro and myself. As we come off the steeper descent, raise the seat post away and relax and increase my electric assist. You really don't need electric assist on the descent, so it's generally not helpful and can be counterproductive. This is the descent from Powerline. Standing, dropping our seat post. It's grassy and slightly gravelly and dirt here. So the overgrowth usually is helpful for traction and for slowing if needed. I'm generally just standing with my pedals in the horizontal position and putting my center of gravity as aft as possible over that rocky descent. Raised my seat post up and riding trail in this more flowy portion. We'll meet you closer to the steeper part further down. We're on the lower portion of the final descent from Powerline, and in this area it's rocky, gravelly, with some ravines that you'll probably recall on the way up. In general, it's not physically or aerobically demanding to go down. It's mostly technically demanding, with maintaining aft center of gravity, strong rear braking, gentle front braking, and the brush can help to maintain traction. So in this track, it's a 2-track, so the center area between the 2 tracks can be used for maintaining traction. But you don't have to keep the bike perfectly aligned with your center of gravity, meaning you can lean the bike to the right while staying more or less up and down with your body. That can help to maintain control when things get a little fast. And probably the best piece of advice that I've received for going down is to let the bike buck. Meaning, when you're going over very rocky, gravelly terrain, rather than over braking, which can be detrimental for loss of control and traction, just let off the brakes momentarily and rise up, straightening your legs with the bar, with the crank in the horizontal position, and let the bike absorb as much of the terrain as possible, and then your legs will absorb the rest to keep the control unit on top of your neck as smooth as possible. So here we are, descent again, holding gentle rear brake, light front brake, and I generally will let off the brakes fully when in the air or going off the trail. Like that is an area that's a great example for let it buck. Use the front and rear suspension. This Rocky Mountain has 150 millimeters of travel, and it's best to use it. Just as you would if you were riding a horse. Let the horse absorb some of the terrain, and you would stand in the stirrups if you were horseback riding, especially over rocky terrain. So this area is a mixture of rocks, gravel, light vegetation, now dirt. And even if you're not going in the direction you want, like I was just there, just let it buck. Those 29-inch tires are designed to roll over just about anything in this trail. So this ravine is 2-3 feet deep and a significant fraction of 29 inches wide. So I fully dismount and just walk across. And that is how we end the descent. Okay. We're off of power line and on our final stretch back into Dos Vientos. I almost leaned too far into the turn. Classic mistake. Too much turn towards the radius of the turn while slow. But I was able to recover by just accelerating out. And this is kind of a flowy portion of the trail. And we're gonna need all of this momentum. So I'll just keep it, or attempt. Just downshift. And I generally, when I'm slow and steep on an incline, I'll make a zigzag from the left to the right side of the trail for a slight reduction in the incline. I drop the seat post, decline, let it buck, let it buck, key thing. And then ride the momentum. More right pressure, right caliper braking than left. You don't want to block out the front wheel on the descent. Rock to the head. Hit the helmet though. This part's very gravelly, so brakes not useful when it's very gravelly. Dirt and slow, therefore all right, we're out.